Most people think the mind is something that just happens to them. Thoughts appear, feelings surge, motivation comes and goes, and life becomes a game of reacting to whatever your brain throws at you. But what if the opposite is true? What if your mind isn't the one in charge? What if you are? What if the person you become isn't shaped by random moods, childhood programming, or the chaos of your environment, but by deliberate habits that literally reshape your brain's architecture? That's not a metaphor. It's not self-help fluff. It's neuroscience. Your brain rewires itself every single day. Every thought, every action, and every emotional response strengthens certain neural pathways and weakens others. This process, called neuroplasticities, the reason you can learn, unlearn, grow, or get stuck in old patterns. But here's the problem. Most of us never take control of this process. We let our brains wire themselves by accident, scrolling, avoiding, reacting, falling into comfort loops, and repeating the same emotional cycles. And eventually, that becomes our identity. But what happens if you take that process back? If you step behind the mental curtain and take conscious control of how your brain forms habits, beliefs, and behaviors, that's what we'll call the mind reset. This isn't a motivational trend or just another morning routine. It's a systematic recalibration of how your neural circuits fire, connect, and evolve. And in this video, we're going to break down 5 habits that have the strongest scientific evidence for rewiring your brain. 5 habits that don't require special talent or extreme discipline. 5 habits that, if practiced consistently, can change how you think, how you feel, and who you become. So let's begin. Let us start with something that sounds simple most to simple but has the power to alter the whole trajectory of your life: meta-thinking. It's also known as thinking about your thinking. It's the moment you step outside your mental stream and observe it from above. It's the difference between saying, "I'm anxious," and saying, "I notice that a feeling of anxiety is arising." The first statement fuses your identity with the emotion. The second one separates them and puts you back in the command seat. This tiny shift activates regions of your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for reasoning and executive control. At the same time, it reduces activity in the amygdala, the part that triggers panic, fear, and emotional reactivity. It creates a new neurological pattern where awareness overrides impulse. If you've ever wondered why some people stay calm in conflict while others explode, or why some can think clearly under pressure while others freeze, this is the reason. It's not intelligence or luck. It's the habit of stepping back and saying, "This is what my mind is doing right now." So why does meta-thinking rewire the brain? Because every time you practice it, you strengthen the neural circuits for emotional regulation, delayed gratification, and better decision-making. These circuits are often weak, not because they're broken, but because they've never been trained. Meta-thinking is that training. The more you do it, the more your brain learns to pause instead of react, to observe instead of panic, and to choose instead of defaulting to old patterns. How can you practice it? Here are 3 simple daily drills. First, label your thoughts. Whenever a strong emotion shows up, just say to yourself, "This is frustration," or "This is fear." You're not trying to stop the feeling, just labeling it. This activates your brain's observer mode. Second, intercept the first impulse. When you feel a reaction coming, like checking your phone, snapping at someone, or quitting a task, just pause for 3 seconds. This tiny interruption rewires the brain's automatic response loops. Over time, that pause becomes your new default. And third, a 5-minute reflection. At the end of the day, just answer 3 questions. What did my mind want today? What did I choose instead? And what did I do automatically without thinking? This short reflection exposes your unconscious habits, and once you can see them, you can change them. Within a week or 2, you'll likely notice yourself reacting slower, staying calmer, and catching bad habits before they take over. This is neuroplasticity in motion. Now, for our second habit, voluntary discomfort. This one is misunderstood by almost everyone. People hear discomfort and think of extreme workouts, ice baths, or punishing discipline. That's not what we're talking about. That kind of thing just spikes your stress hormones. The real power is in microdoses of discomfort, small, controlled exposures that train your nervous system to stay calm under pressure and reprogram your emotional thresholds. Here's the core idea. When you voluntarily expose yourself to mild discomfort, you teach your brain that stress is not a threat, that effort is not danger, and that resistance is not trauma. This reduces your brain's tendency to avoid anything that feels difficult, a tendency that leads to procrastination, low motivation, and emotional fragility. Your brain has 2 relevant systems here: the limbic system, which reacts to discomfort and seeks comfort, and the prefrontal cortex, which chooses challenge and applies discipline. Voluntary discomfort is the bridge between them. Every time you intentionally do something a little uncomfortable, you strengthen the neural circuits for self-control, stress resilience, and long-term thinking. Meanwhile, the circuits for avoidance get weaker. Discomfort stops feeling so dangerous. Resistance stops feeling so overwhelming. You become mentally tougher, not by force, but by controlled exposure. So, what are the most effective forms of micro-discomfort? First, cold exposure. Just 30 to 60 seconds. Not extreme cold, just mildly uncomfortable cold water at the end of your shower. Enough to trigger controlled breathing and mental stillness. This trains your nervous system to stay stable under stress. Second, monotony training. For 10 to 20 minutes, do a boring task with 0 stimulation. Wash the dishes, clean your room, or organize a drawer. No music, no podcast, no dopamine. This retrains your brain to focus without constant stimulation, a rare skill in our digital age. Third, controlled delay. When you want something, a snack, your phone, any distraction, just wait 2 or 3 minutes before giving in. This simple act rewires your impulse control circuits. A small delay leads to massive long-term discipline. And finally, quiet exposure. Just sit in silence for 3 to 5 minutes. Let your brain get bored. Let your thoughts surge. Don't try to escape it. Just sit there. This teaches your brain that inner discomfort is survivable, and it calms anxiety in the long run. The rule for voluntary discomfort is simple. It should be uncomfortable but safe, challenging but controlled, difficult but repeatable. Just 10 to 15 minutes a day is enough to profoundly rewire your nervous system over time. We've covered 2 powerful habits so far, and we have 3 more to go that are just as transformative. Stay with me as we continue to explore how to take back control of your mind.